Hello indie game fan, October was yet another great month of releases with hidden gems you might have missed, beginning with Terror of Hemasaurus, a self-styled smash 'em up that reminds me of the arcade classic Rampage, but with a modern twist, where destroying a city and eating helpless humans is as fun as it ever was. I want to give a special mention to Ozymandias' Bronze Age Empire sim, where you're leading a civilization and building an empire, because while I'm usually not a strategy game person, I do think that this streamlined experience is worth a go. While the epic multi-hour and day campaigns of titles like Civilization and Crusader Kings has a certain appeal, it can be daunting if you're new to the genre, which is where a more bite-sized but no less strategic experience like this comes in. Alright, welcome to the Vampire Survivors Clones section, where we do actually have a decent selection such as Army of Ruin, a gorgeous looking title from the developer of Ziggurat, where it is probably the prettiest entry in this subgenre right now, and it's not too bad as well in terms of mechanics. Arrival Zero Earth has you controlling a mob of humans fighting against War of the Worlds style alien walkers, having their own twist on the formula. Beautiful Mystic Survivors did launch to mixed reviews, but the developers have reacted quickly and made the necessary changes, where it's pretty decent but does have a lot of fan service. I still love the look of Her Name Was Fire, choosing a colour palette that makes it stand out, with the Tarot Punk system being unique. On paper, the most successful of the bunch last month is Nomad Survival, one that has a relatively simple pixel art style but is comparable to the original and does have its own unique spin on this as well. I was skeptical about Scarlet Tower since it looked like the developers rushed it out of the door, putting their other game in development on hold, but I was surprised to find a pretty decent one of these, of course aided by the pixel art. Toho games are perhaps a natural fit for the bullet heaven subgenre, since the original games are all bullet hells, where Toho Library Survivors combines both, with you firing off a bunch of projectiles and having bosses firing back at you as well. Rounding off this section is Void Scrappers, a sci-fi title from the developer of the underrated Fates of Ort, who I don't know to be happy or sad for them, but this appears to have sold a lot better than their original game, but I suppose such is the life of an indie developer, where you take the wins where you can find them. Going back to the regular coverage with Internet Generation, an action-adventure title set within a chat server, where the owner has neglected it and the mods are abusing their powers. It has good action and surprisingly some puzzles as well, all wrapped up with some great pixel art.
Remember this. You make your own luck in life. If you want to change the world, you've got to do it your bloody self. Every broke sot in this city has the same sad excuses. Well, here's a tip you can take to the bank. If you're broke, if you're beaten down, it's your own bloody fault.
I had high hopes for Sunday Gold due to its style and genre, where this is a detective adventure game crossed with a turn-based RPG with an art style and vibe that kind of reminds me of Disco Elysium. You play as 3 criminals trying to expose a corrupt mega corporation and its billionaire owner, where the RPG progression systems, world building and core mechanics are great, and is by definition a hidden gem. I love how Toho titles have found a home on Steam, which is why Valkyrie of Phantasm gets a mention, a 3D 1v1 aerial combat fighting game that is pretty intense. It stars many of the notable Toho characters, where the dodging of bullets and counter-attacking in 3D and in real time looks pretty good. There's also online PvP support, but I don't think there's much of an online community, and I do wonder what they do with this in early access. Full disclosure, Gedonia did sponsor a video on this channel, but you guys know me, I am selective with the developers that I work with, where this open world RPG is actually pretty good. Despite using that all-too-generic asset pack for the characters, NPCs and some enemies, the pure ambition and scope of this is impressive, even more so since I believe it comes to us from a solo developer. It has a very classic medieval fantasy setting with magic and orcs and dragons, but where you can recruit allies, join different factions, delve into dungeons, solve puzzles and even build and upgrade your own home, being relatively underrated as well, so do give it a go. Hey, if you made it this far, subscribe to my weekly newsletter to keep on top of all things indie games, link in the description below.
There once was a happy land called Nostalgaia, a world of video games. But turmoil struck. It is now an unhappy and violent place where nothing is fine. Every pixel of fidelity bleeding away, memories fading. It's wrong.
Nostalgaia is dying.
Heroes once revered, now reviled. Nostalgaia needs something new. And they got you.
The walking scribble.
And everyone wants you gone.
Ever so often, there are games that flip genre norms on their heads, where the last hero of Nostalgaia is exactly that, adding a sense of humour to the usually grimdark Souls-like genre. The writing and vibe is just hilarious, while still retaining the expected stamina-based combat, which can be quite challenging, but I just love it since it's a breath of fresh air.
In a world where even items have forgotten what they do. Choose a class and master a playstyle. Grow your stats, equip stronger gear, and face down the most deadly of enemies.
Perhaps some fragment of it was heroic.
Run the gauntlet, unravel mysteries, and find your valor.
This does not fit my narrative.
The last hero of Nostalgaia. Out now.
Cowpocalypse! Are you with us, son? Good. The agency requested your assistance to educate some corps by paying them a visit. Your arrival won't go unnoticed. Get warmed up. Put some lowlifes out of their misery. Agency hardware may be disposable, but it is expensive. They'll be throwing everything they've got to stop you. Let them try.
Again, full disclosure, Deadlink also sponsored a video on the channel, where this roguelite first-person shooter is sleek and awesome and is totally worth a play. I love the look and cyberpunk setting, where you're attempting to cause as much damage as possible to the operations of mega corporations, where the core gunplay and variety is awesome and could become one of the best in this sub-genre. For better or worse, adventure games tend to end up in the hidden gems section, since unfortunately they are not as popular as shooters or platformers, but the case of the Golden Idol really impressed. "12 strange and gruesome deaths have occurred, and you have to find and decipher clues, literally getting words to slot into puzzles in a manner similar to a Return of the Obra Dinn, having an unsettling and unique art style as well. Using Snake as your movement inspiration is not new in games, but where this game shines is that it added an element of bullet hell to it, with some fantastic boss fights, great music and pretty pixel art, making Last Command not to be missed, where you can watch this video for more pixel art games.